Everybody good? Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Again, I appreciate your support of our team and our program and our student athletes. I'm excited to get into conference play and the things and the challenges and the opportunities that now present themselves on this stage. Excited about our offensive production the other night. And again, Jet was just named Freshman of the Week in our conference, in the Mountain West Conference. That's hard to do, but it's a reflection of our offensive performance and the way they did together. And obviously, we think he's a really good running back, especially for a freshman. We'll build on that, and hopefully we're saying that a number of times over the course of the next few weeks. But a lot of corrections after Saturday night's game. Glad to be able to correct after a win. Addressed every penalty that we had. Obviously, we know that we won't be good enough to win a close game with 96 yards of penalties against us. So those are things that we can fix, and we will. It's discipline. It's fundamentals. It's making sure we understand, be dialed in on the snap count. I think we had 3 false starts. We had 2 the week before, I believe. Even if you're getting a simulation of a snap count across the ball, you shouldn't. That should not draw you in a position that you're offsides. Our 2 pass interference calls, we're grabbing in a position 1 on the comeback that our right hand wrapped around on top and caused jersey restriction. Roughing the passer was a tip ball, and the linebacker's hand came back down through the quarterback's face mask. That they're going to call that every single time. Roughing the punter was a huge one. It was a really nice play early on the block punt. Thought we had a chance and an opportunity to get another one, and we were inches away from getting that, but he left his feet, and usually when you do that and it's that close and you don't get the ball, it's going to be roughing. So we'll learn from that. And we can get those fixed and then continue to improve in schematics and then how we go perform and prepare, then we'll continue to be a better team. And we need to be this week. I have a lot of respect for the way Hawaii is playing on all 3 phases. I think they've got a terrific coach and coaching staff, and they play so hard. They're a tough team, and they've got a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball. We need a tremendous week of preparation to give ourselves a chance to play winning football. Be happy to answer any questions from here.
Is there still satisfaction? I mean, win is win, right? But when special teams, defense, and the running game kind of marry together to win a game like that, what kind of satisfaction does that bring?
Well, you look at how you play complementary football, and that would be a great example. I talked this morning in our team meeting about we had over 300 yards rushing. We created 3 turnovers on defense, and then we had a block punt. And, quite possibly could have been, if we would have scooped it and scored, inside the 10-yard line, obviously would have been big as well, but we scored soon after offensively. When those 3 things are aligned and you play that way, you're playing winning football when you can run the ball for over 300, you create 3 takeaways, and you have a blocked punt. So those are great things. We'll continue to strive to work to play complementary ball, and obviously this team needs to be able to do that. Coaches, we have to be able to get them in position to do it, and then the execution piece is so important.
Coach, we talked last night about the importance of the freshmen on your team, back-to-back Freshman of the Week honors. Want to talk about Saturday's game and the recruits that will be there and your focus to recruit high school here in Vegas?
Yeah, I think it's important that if you are a recruit, our 2024 class, it's as solid of, hitting situations now. It's a long time between now and December signing date, but we've got some depth area concerns that we think at least help on the way. I think we have some impact players in that class. We're starting heavy into the 2025 class now. We'll have a great number of kids in prospects and their families and high school coaches. That's got to become so important that Vegas kids understand the things that they want to accomplish as a college football player and student athlete. We're going to get done here, and it does not matter if you're a senior or a true freshman. It's our job to coach them and get them in position to play winning ball. And I think if you look at our depth and you look at the way that we've pieced together this team, I think it would prove to be factual that we're going to coach the guys to get ready to go play. And then if you earn that, and it really doesn't matter if you're never played a college game or if you've had 50 starts, we're going to go play you.
Jack Thomas, to be on the field, he also has to pass block, and he actually graded out really well with pass blocking. So for a little guy, can you talk about him and the responsibility of running backs pass blocking?
And it's so important in, number one, our run game allowed us to be a little better in our pass protection, how those are tied together. But either we're slide protection or odd fan or, different blocking schemes up front, the running backs are always going to be accountable for somebody. And if sometimes they may not bring the guy that they're accounted for, and we can get them out in coverage. But, man, it's so important that – and blocking is the attitude and the want to go do it. Now, Coach Ford has done a nice job on teaching those guys. But also, there's times that it's going to be a mismatch. You're against a 250-pound defensive end, and we're counting on you getting the guy blocked. And schematically, they're not going to have to do that every time that we're in a drop-back situation. But when those plays are called, we got to have trust that the running back's going to step up and protect our quarterback. And I think our runners they've embraced that. They understand how important it is. And if you don't do it, you're not going to play.
The other part of the run game that's important is the quarterback getting it to him. And it sounds simple, but I think there were a couple of plays 2 weeks ago where Jaden and the running backs had some confusion. So this time around, how did he do?
Well, it's reads, it's the different pitchers that they're going to give you. Are they doing cross plug in the next level? Now the quarterback defender, how are they really playing it on the zone read, on the RPO world? So a lot of it, as you're saying, comes down to the read of the quarterback and how disciplined can he be with his eyes. Can the read be right? And then how do we counter what the offense or what the defense is giving us? How can we counter that to get the number count where we need it to be? And I think he made a lot of really good decisions Saturday night.
Coach, with the run and shoot offense, have you faced anything similar to that before in the past? How important is it for the DPs to stay locked on the receivers because they have like 3 options on every play?
Yeah, we have faced, this is a little bit different version, but, over the years, faced a number of guys that would be descriptive of a run and shoot spread attack. Hal Mummy, Mike Leach, a number of guys in the Big 12 Conference, and Lane Kiffin. They're all different varieties of what it looks like. And this is very explosive. They've got great receivers. The quarterback is doing a nice job on delivering the ball with his decision-making. Excuse me. And then the run after catch is so important to their offense. They have shown that they're an explosive group, and they've got playmakers, and they find mismatches. So our job, our eye discipline, the ability to be able to play some man and some zone, and how well can we defend the pass? Can we disrupt the passer? Can we get him off the spot? Can we make him feel uncomfortable? All those things go into being a good pass defensive team, and it's critically important because a lot of times the way this offense is built on some timing, on route concepts. We've got to work it out for us.
How's Doug doing in his recovery process?
Better. He was out there today and practiced a little bit. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully we can continue. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get an injury report later on today in our staff meeting. Hopefully we'll get a little more tomorrow and continue to advance him from there.
You guys have forced, I think, 9 turnovers on defense. Just from a strategy standpoint, is there something you guys can do when you're to create turnovers, or is it more of a right place, right time to take advantage of? How do you sort of sustain that throughout the season?
Yeah, if we could keep that pace going, obviously would we'll need it. We need to get as many takeaways as we can. And how you force those, I think a lot of it has to do with the understanding of the play call. I think it's the confidence in yourself to be able to go execute that through the habits that you've built, and then the execution on making a play when it presents itself. A number of times also when the ball is loose or a tip ball, you know, are you swarming the ball? Are you populating the ball? Is your effort the way that it needs to be? Because if you get a number of hats around the ball, numbers say you're going to come up with it if it's loose. So all those things go into it. I think our coaches do a nice job on emphasizing it in practice. We talk about how, you know, game-changing they can be, how deflating they are on the other side, and, you know, we have to continue that for us to have a chance to be successful.
When you talk about being around the ball, it seems like Dre Williams is always somewhere or around a loose ball. With that position, the amount of times that you're blitzing him and the way you're using him, have you had other players do that in your system before, and how much of that is tailored to him specifically, and just your thoughts on the way he's being used and how he's producing right now?
Yeah, that position is really important because a lot of times they're in man coverage, or, you know, an important part of setting the defense, setting the perimeter run support of the defensive structure. A lot of that is natural instinct and ability. Some of it is play call. But also there are times within the read at that position that it looks like that position is on a blitz, and he's not. It's just it's a really good read, and he's you know, getting his eyes in the right spot and able to react from there. So over the years, that has been a besides, you know, one of the linebacker spots, that's usually the other most productive spot on our defense, and we obviously need a number of guys to be able to play in that role on the way that we mix and match cross-training on the back end, and Dre's been very productive through, you know, the first 4 games of the season.
What have been some of the factors that have led to the success in the red zone thus far?
I think really good ideas on how we can game plan in that area, what we're good at in that area. Don't try to do a number of things, but focus on, you know, what is either the offense or defense giving us. Okay, how can we attack that? Limited space, tighter windows, maybe things that we carry from week to week or year to year that have worked in those situations, and then, you know, how does it cater to what you're trying to do that specific week. I think some of the carryover, some of the work that we did and have done in fall camp and practice, our emphasis in that area, and then again, you know, the players have to go execute it, and they understand how important it is to come away with points when we're down there on offense. And then defensively, if the offense gets down there, you know, our goal is just give us a place to stand, try to force them into a field goal situation. If we can do that, then we'll continue to play good red zone offense and defense.
Coach,
Heading-
Marshall. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Marshall Nichols has shown a significant improvement over last year. Discuss, if you would, the importance of that and the reasons for it.
I think some of it is the snap to get off, the timing, the way that looks, and the urgency on what our mark is on getting the ball off. You know, I think some of our coverage lanes have maybe helped him. He's not having to place the ball perfectly every time. I think he trusts our protection in the shield punt, and I think he's got great talent. I do. I think we're starting to see some of that. You know, we were close the other night. Couldn't decide with the wind if it was really a red zone punt situation or try to drive the ball, and, you know, he ended up popping it good, and we had a chance to make a play on it, but it bounced in the end zone. But I mean, he was on the, you know, he was on the other 40-yard line, and he's got a really strong leg, is what I'm trying to say. So he's also understanding hang time is sometimes a lot more important than driving the ball 60 yards. It gives our guys a chance in our coverage lanes, and I think, you know, every week we're working on protection, number one, and then coverage lane distribution on what that looks like. And then he's obviously working on the different styles of punts that we need to have in our tool belt, so to speak, over the next few weeks.
Coach, where's your coaching staff's mindset heading into conference play?
How important each game matters. How well can we and how fast can we put the game plan together that gives our kids a chance to learn it and then go execute it. It's a sprint with no finish line. And we understand how important each game is. The non-conference is obviously important too, and all the things big picture-wise. But we need to make a run in conference play, and you can't look ahead. You've got to look at how important yesterday was in our initial game plan starting on Saturday night and into Sunday, what that looked like for Hawaii, and then how well can we put together the plan today and finish it off, and then make adjustments with depth to give our guys the best opportunity to play well. Our staff feels the urgency. They understand that their kids will follow us. It's on us, and it's a great feeling.
Where do you feel you are defensively on deep shots? Because I think UTEP hit on like 6 that were 15 yards or more.
Yeah. We gave up, it's too many. We want 3 or less, and if we don't get that fixed, we won't have a chance of playing good defense. And, that's pass rush, that's underneath cover zones, helping in rerouting routes, that's being competitive in the 50-50 balls, it's fundamentals, it's habits, it's eye discipline. But, you can run from the truth or you can run at it, and we got to get it fixed.
You're having to go pretty deep in the cornerback room,
Yeah.
depth-wise. So Quentin Moten played for the first time, and
Yeah.
you have 20-plus plays.
He came off, he had we had a surgery and really held him back early on. Coming back in the rehab, what that looked like, and then enough game live reps out here to be able to go in the game and do it. We felt like last week he had enough. Looked like he could go help us, and got him in the game, and he played well in the snaps he was in there. So he'll continue to earn that work, and we sure need him to keep coming. Thanks. I hope y'all have a great week.
Jalen, let's start off just by talking about like the taste in your mouth from losing at Hawaii last year, knocking you out of bowl contention, and how you relay that to the newcomers such as Jack on his team this season.
It's a showdown. So they take pride in getting the pineapple, and we take pride in trying to get that pineapple too. So it's a big week. It's a rival week. So we're just trying to go out and practice well and be great on Saturday.
What do you remember about the game from a physical standpoint? It seemed like they played really hard.
You talking about last year?
Hawaii, yeah, last year.
Yeah, they played really hard. I just feel like we just got to come out and be more physical than them, and then overall we'll just be great.
2 different ways to finish the last couple of games, right? But both for both you guys, situationally executed in very different ways. How important is it was it in a non-conference to get those kind of reps in different situations, both offensively and defensively, and finishing games in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it's extremely important, kind of like you were alluding to, kind of the 4-minute situation that was presented last week. Especially as an O-line, we took pride in running the ball, especially when we needed to. Crunch time fourth quarter, taking up as much clock as we can, and then eventually getting a score out of it. And you kind of saw that progress throughout the game, and then the score showed in the end.
Jack, what was the difference for you guys on Saturday on the O-line compared to games in the past?
I think, just as an offense in general, I think we're just clicking, especially O-line. It's a position that's very hard to get new players into, especially in a playing role. And obviously I'm one of them because I wasn't here last year. And we have guys like Alani, new starter this year, Anton Ambule, another new starter. We even have true freshmen like Austin Boyd coming in there and stepping up. And then I think it's also just how many backs we use and how many are willing and able to, give their best. And they're very talented. So I think when that all starts meshing together, that's kind of the outcome you'll see.
Winning a game on the road, right? How different does that feel as winning a game at home? And the fashion in which you're able to do it, what was it like doing that?
It was very exciting. Yeah, I said we haven't won a road game in a long time, so getting that road win early on in the season is just going to build more confidence for us going on down the road.
Jack, when you have a freshman running back go for 100 yards and 4 touchdowns and get recognized by the conference, do you take pride in that as an offensive line? What do you think was working specifically with Jaden in that game?
We most definitely take pride in it, no matter who it is, whether it's, a guy in the last season like VD or a brand new guy like Jet. It's nice to do as an O-line to have numbers kind of show in your favor like that, but at the same time, you don't really think about it during the game. It's just kind of the next play mentality, and we have the guys up front that think similar, and that's kind of what gets us through it.
For Jack, what was it like down the stretch when you get Lester, but especially Reese in, they're fresh? I mean, can you see it on the defense? Like, maybe there's not enough freshness on the other side when guys are coming off the bench?
Most definitely. And it's probably a little different for me because I don't see what goes on behind me as much. But even that play, I remember just seeing somebody cut really, really well. Like, that's Reese, isn't it? I had no idea, it's nice having that many threats on the offense. And I think the freshness, especially as the game goes on, plays in our favor.
Yeah, I asked Coach earlier about blocking for the running backs, and Jack Thomas actually graded out really well, which is impressive, 1, for a freshman, and 2, for a guy who's not gigantic.
Yeah, and we talked about the stats, the 4 touchdowns. He's a very grateful player, too. He came up to every lineman and said, "Thank you, great game," everything. So it's a little bit easier to block for someone like that who shows love the opposite way, too, and he's a really good football player.
Jalen, can you talk about the improvement defensively in stopping the run?
Yeah, we take pride in that. Coming and stopping the run, scoring, having under 100 yards. So I feel like that starts in practice. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday starts right there. So it doesn't start on Saturday. It starts in the preparation, habits on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I feel like, we did good on Saturday stopping the run.
Jalen, four sacks from 4 different guys on Saturday. What does that show you in terms of your guys' improvement in swarming the ball?
It's big, and especially it brings confidence to the D-line as well. So, as long as we keep doing our job and being great on the field, I feel like we should have even more sacks on Saturday.
For this upcoming game, it's a big showdown, obviously. Why is it important for fans to, come out and support you guys?
Because it's the Ninth Island. There's a lot of Hawaii fans that are out here, and a lot of Rebel fans out here too. So it's a great little bind, and we play for the Pineapple as well. So there's a trophy involved, so it makes it even more important as well.
Piggybacking off of that, coming off of a big road win for both of you, where are your emotions at heading into this rival game?
Honestly, it's obviously a big game, but at this point in the season, we're really just focused on going 1-0 each week. Hawaii is our next opponent, so we're solely focused on them. If you look ahead, nothing but bad things can happen. So, all our efforts are going into them. Obviously, last week was good, but you got to have a quick memory because there's a lot of improvements that can be made for this week.
For Jack, given that it's Hawaii and Maava and Friel are both from Hawaii, have they said anything? Do you expect them to say anything? Because they're both kind of quiet guys.
They are. They haven't said anything to me, but, it's also one of those things where you don't necessarily need to just because deep down it has to mean something to them. And as an O-line, we try to look out for our guys, so it's going to be a good one.
Jalen, 3-1 start to this season. I've been with you guys for the past 3 years. What's kind of the mood in this locker room as you guys enter conference play?
Keep going. Keep full throttle on the gas. We're not trying to have like going on like last year. So it was really just keep going. So let's go to a bowl game this year. It's on. Come on.
Jack, what did you think of Jade? And obviously he's played before the season, but his first career start, what did you think of the way he was getting the team in and out of the huddle, keeping things organized? Just your thoughts on the way he sort of took over that role in the offense.
He's most definitely prepared, and I think that speaks to Coach Marion and just all the QBs in general. I mean, we have a lot of guys who I'd feel really comfortable playing that QB position, and I thought he did a great job leading the offense. Communication was great, and he was most definitely prepared for that.
Jalen, can you talk about the contributions from some of the guys who were on the two line, the backups, like Xavier Carter, OC?
Those guys is high motor guys. So, I mean, for them to come in and be impactful like that is just great. It just builds depth for us. Because if someone goes down, they can just step up and no drop off as well. So it's good for them guys to go out there and show that type of effort and show that the winning mentality we have down here.
How about Carter? Because the staff expects him to be a pass rush specialist. That was the most he played, and looked like he was doing a lot of stunning, and his speed off the edge is trouble.
No, yeah, he's going to be a good guy. And I just feel like as the season goes on, he's going to get better and better because we're taking more reps, more practice, more preparation. He's just going to get better.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a nice day.
You too, good one.